Hello, my name is Cristel Castro Barahona, and I'm going to talk about obesity related to perceptions and practices among educators in food and nutrition. Definition: obesity is a complex issue stress, depression, and food addiction are severe psychological conditions that can accompany an obesity diagnosis. Overweight and obesity are defined as abnormal or excessive fat accumulation that presents a risk to health. A body mass index over 25 is considered overweight and over 30 is obese.
What is obesity and what causes it? Obesity is a medical condition where a person has accumulated an excessive amount of body fat that may impair health. A person is considered obese if their body weight is at least 20% higher than it should be. If a person's body mass index, a statistical measurement derived from their height and weight, is 30 or over, they are considered obese, too. But what causes obesity? The main cause of obesity and overweight is an energy imbalance between the consumed calories, through food and liquids, and the burned calories, through workout and other daily activities. That's because people are eating more fat and sugar while reducing their physical activity to a minimum, thanks to sedentary work, increasing urbanization and more comfortable ways of transport. But that's not it. Obesity can also be caused by a lack of sleep, faulty genes and hormones, or certain medication. In addition, new research indicates that it gets more and more difficult to lose weight, the more weight a person carries. The best treatment of obesity is eating healthy food and increasing physical activity. Unfortunately, it can't be guaranteed to result in weight loss. Unlike anorexia, obesity isn't considered a disease yet, which makes treatment very expensive for the person affected. Always remember, being obese isn't necessarily the person's fault. Don't bully or mock someone because of it. Be gentle. Spread love, not hate.
Genetic factors. By 2006, there were 41 genes identified to be related to obesity. This gene can make weight gain easier and weight loss harder for individuals. Having parents that are 8 overweight will increase the risk that a child will become overweight as well. Nearly 80% of the children of 2 obese parents are obese. To contrast this, less than 10% of children of 2 normal weight parents are obese. Like many other health issues, obesity is related to the interaction of genetic predisposition and environmental factors.
Sometimes it seems like everywhere we look, we're exposed to adverts about dieting, urging us to lose weight. Globally, the diet industry rakes in over £150 billion a year, and that figure is rising fast. But at the same time, worldwide obesity levels are also growing, and that matters because obesity now kills more people than malnutrition. So what's going on? Why are self-control and dieting alone unable to stop the growing obesity epidemic? Research by physiologists suggests there are important biological factors at play, namely that some of us are simply more genetically predisposed to become obese than others. The root causes of obesity can be summed up like this: food intake minus energy burned equals fat stored. So obesity occurs when we consume more than we burn and fat mass builds up. But what happens when genetics are thrown into the mix? Our understanding of this field has been advanced by scientific experiments involving a species of obese mouse. These mice are always hungry and won't stop eating. They never feel full. The mice weigh 3 times more than normal mice because of a defect in a single gene. Scientists identified that gene as one that codes for a hormone called leptin. Leptin is made by fat cells and signals to the brain how much fat mass is in the body. Without it, the brain mistakenly believes the body is starving, so the mice keep eating even though they've had enough food. Scientists translated this finding to humans when a 4-year-old boy with the same genetic mutation became severely obese. With regular leptin injections, his overeating stopped, and by the age of 8, he was no longer overweight. Studies of twins have helped us to identify the genetic basis of obesity. Identical twins who come from the same egg and the same DNA have very similar body sizes, but twins that come from different eggs show much more variability. These studies show that while single genes are occasionally responsible, most obesity cases are caused by a combination of genes working together. Understanding the causes of obesity is far from simple, but genetic factors such as leptin play an important role to regulate food intake and body weight. So self-control alone is rarely enough to overcome the powerful effects of genes. That's why physiologists are working hard to assess how a healthy diet and exercise, combined with a better understanding of how genes influence obesity, can help turn the tide on this global epidemic.
Applications in nutrition. Simply increasing the budget for food does not impact the type of food purchased. This shows a need for nutrition education. A number of studies to conclude that general education as a form of intervention has a greater impact on health and weight than targeting one specific behavior. Nutrition education is needed in order for high-risk individuals to budget better as well as increasing the quality of their diet. Pros and cons. Importance of food education. Nutrition education can be applied in all stages of life, promotes the creation of healthy eating habits for life, reduces the occurrence of disease, enables the selection, preparation, and preservation of high nutritional value, properly feeding infants and young children, promotes the adoption of proper food handling habits. Issue applied in Ecuador. In Ecuador, overweight and obesity among children and adolescents is growing concern. By 2021, Issue applied in Ecuador. In Ecuador, overweight and obesity among children and adolescents is a growing concern. By 2021, one in 12 children under the age of 5 already suffers from this condition. The figure increased with age. One in 3 school-age children and one in 4 adolescents are already overweight.
When you're severely obese, is there ever a point in which you can't get better with just diet and exercise alone?
Yeah, that's a good point. Most of the time, we're going to treat obesity with diet and exercise. That's what's the long proven way to treat it, and that's what we've all been taught in medical school. The difference is the morbidly obese patient and the severely obese patient. That group of patients are a little bit different. And there's been studies, and the first study was done in 1991. It was a consensus at the National Institute of Health. And what they did is study many patients, and they put them on diet and exercise for an extended period of time. And what they noticed that the severely obese and the morbidly obese patients, their chance of actually losing weight and keeping it off was 1 out of every 100. So there's a 99% failure rate.
Wow.
So we're not talking about the normal person who's 10, 20 pounds, maybe 30 pounds overweight. Those patients or those people can actually lose weight on diet and exercise.
Okay.
The long proven way to do it.
So are we talking over 30, over 40 pounds? Depends.
So it's not really it's not really the weight, it's the
Right,
BMI.
BMI.
Because you can have a 200-pound man, it's different than, you know, a woman who's only 5'5" and that kind of thing. So what we're talking about is the severely obese and the morbidly obese patients.
Okay.
Those patients have a difficult time losing weight in the just standard fashions with diet and exercise.
Okay, so people who are in that situation, there are some options for weight loss surgery. They have evolved over time, right? So tell me a little bit about the treatment and the options that people might have right now.
So usually what we do is when we see our patients, they come to us as morbidly obese patients, we're going to see the severely obese and the morbidly obese patients.
Okay.
And what we'll do is we'll actually put them on a diet. And it's usually anywhere from 3 to 6 months of diet and exercise program. If they fail to lose the amount of weight that they need to lose, then they're going to qualify for a bariatric procedure.
Conclusion: recognition is increasing that overweight and obesity are not only problems of individuals, but also society-wide problems of populations. Acting of this recognition will require multifaceted population-based changes in the social environmental variables that influence energy intake and expenditure.